Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about sensory overload training. Okay, normally when we're training, regardless what type of gun training we're doing, usually we're using real guns, and we are shooting at fake targets. Okay, and what I mean by fake targets is these aren't targets that are shooting back at us. Basically they're most of the time they're sitting pretty still, getting shot at. Occasionally you might have some more advanced targets that move, or you may be doing some clay disc shooting as an additional supplement, to your regular shooting, which is excellent. Definitely recommend clay disc shooting as part of tactical training because you get used to that time constraint. But that still doesn't give you the sensory overload of being in a real combat type of situation. Where one of the things that that will immediately get overloaded is your hearing, your senses, right? Because basically, we're not wearing earplugs. We might be in the low light type of situation where now we're seeing lots of flashes, but especially the hearing thing, especially if we're in an indoor type of situation. Basically what happens is when you hear really loud sounds repeatedly, what tends to happen is you start to almost like numb up a little bit. Okay, you start to not hear things, or you start feeling like you're hearing things a little bit slower, or you start accepting new information a little bit slower. And that's basically a factor of just your sensors being overloaded, because it's just so much going on. And on top of everything that's going on, your hearing is being overloaded, and there's things happening that you're trying to see, and your eyes are trying to take in as much information as possible. They're trying to look out there and see what's going on, which is another reason why definitely recommend red dots, because under that type of a situation, it's really hard sometimes to to get on your iron sights. So it really helps if you have a red dot in a situation where you are just under a lot of stress, and there's a lot of information going on. So there's two things that I have done in my life that I feel have helped me with sensory overload. Okay, and those two things are boxing and also the sword fighting, the sword training that I do. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen my sword fighting videos. I do a couple of different. I train in a couple of different organizations. One organization that I train in, the SCA. We wear armor, okay, light armor, and basically we're using swords that are made out of hardwood. Okay, rattan. Okay, this is what this is basically made out of, and basically we're hitting with the full body. So basically when I swing, I'm not just going tap with my arms. I'm basically using my body to drive. That is what's going into my head. Okay, so basically I'm putting, because I'm wearing a helmet. The helmet weighs about 8 pounds, so it does absorb a lot of the impact, but there's still a lot of that impact that gets transferred into your head from this blow. I'll do another one. Right, so that's one of the things that I have found to be very useful, because while I'm being hit in the head, I still have to maintain my balance. I basically have to continue fighting, stay balanced, keep thinking about what's going on. So that's one of the things I have found to help with sensory overload. Being hit in the head, and still continuing to function, to fight, to continue to block and return blows or return fire. Another thing I have found to be very useful is boxing. Now, with boxing, usually you use a padded helmet like this, and I definitely recommend the ones that have the cheek pads over here, because basically that's going to protect your nose from breaking. Okay, because when you get here, it doesn't basically it spreads the impact out to your whole head, rather than concentrated on one point like your nose or your jaw, right? This has a jaw protector where it's going to break. And usually we're using like 16-ounce gloves. And now here's the thing: when you do boxing, okay, you don't have to go all out, because even light blows, a couple of light blows to the head, we're basically I don't have wraps here. Let me balance this up a little bit. I don't know if that's But even if you're, okay, I'm going to intentionally hit this light enough now. So that it's not over. Even that type of sparring, where as you can see, I was hitting that fairly light. You know, those blows add up. Okay, and you know, even if you're training at that light level, you know, a lot of times you will get headaches through that. Okay, so that's an important part of training. You know, being able to work through work through that headache. You know, work through the, you're taking those shots, especially with boxing, because basically when you get hit, you just basically continue fighting. So as you're getting hit, you still need to formulate a plan, you know, and keep fighting through it. You know, try to get out of range, try to get back into range. But you have to work through that, you know, through all what's going, you know, through everything that's going on. Okay, so this is something that's very difficult to simulate on the gun range. Okay, even if it's, you know, a range like this, okay, or other places that you see me training, where I can do a lot of stuff that you can't do at you know, at most ranges. Like I can do holster draws, I can shoot in a variety of different directions, you know, I can shoot from different positions. So even though I can do a lot of these more advanced things that you might not be able to do at other ranges, like moving and shooting, for example, there's still a lot of things that I cannot do here. You know, I can't get these targets to shoot back at me, and I really don't want them shooting back at me either, because that causes kind of permanent damage. So somehow I need to create that that sensory overload. So these are the two things that I have found to be very effective. I mean, the sword training that I do, I mean, that does involve a larger investment. It also usually involves a little bit more traveling, because you're probably not going to have, you know, you may not have a sword training place like, you know, in your immediate neighborhood. You know, I typically have to travel at least about an hour to get to my sword fighting practice. But as far as a boxing gym, you know, that's something that you might be able to find, you know, a lot closer to you. The investment in equipment is pretty cheap. You know, basically, you know, $50 gloves, you know, $50, you know, face, whatever this is, a face head, or helmet, whatever you call it, or headgear. That's what it is. It's $50 headgear. That's what we refer to it. So basically, it's a $100 investment. And it will teach you how to handle sensory overload. And I feel that this is a very important aspect of tactical training. Okay? You gotta be able to handle that sensory overload. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you guys have any comments, please post them. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. See you guys next time.